our wounds and stepping out of small self. I had a dream which said it's all about the difference between small self and big self. You know, our small self, that's what about me, oh help, fear, vulnerable, this small physical thing. And then expanded self, that's connected to everything and everyone and cares about everything and everyone and just wants to be part of giving, sharing, connecting, all that. So, what do I have to share? Well, 3 very serious illnesses, and each one actually with the potential to end my life. My practice became very much a practice of let's have this moment because we don't know what's going to come next. And this moment actually is the only moment we have. And I learnt to come into the body, to stop dissociating, to stop listening to thoughts, to be really present with what is in front of me. Through coming into the body, feeling and sensing the body, coming into the heart, breathing into the heart, this kind of practice. And the illnesses that I had in our present day medicine, and don't forget I was trained as a doctor, so I was very, very conditioned into this way of believing the whole treatment ethos. So that when I became a psychiatric inpatient with a label of manic depression, I believed it. I didn't know any different. And so I took the medications that I was given. And that would have been what I would have done as a junior doctor going into psychiatric training. I would have been writing prescriptions for some very, very toxic drugs. I mean, nowadays I think I'm appalled actually at the drugs that we put into people, the side effects of some of these drugs. And I was even put on some drugs that can leave you for life with uncontrolled, writhing, rather ugly tardive dyskinesia. You know, your face contorts, the body contorts. This is considered an accepted side effect of one of these drugs. Many of the psychiatric drugs have suicide for a side effect. They have horrendous side effects. On the ward, I would just watch people come in and get fatter and fatter and fatter the minute they are put on these medications. Just appalling. And at one stage I was on Anti Psychotics, antidepressants, anxiolytics, Valium, beta blockers. Just insane. And you know, none of it made very much difference to me at all. Lithium was like a mental straitjacket. All my creativity disappeared. I actually think, you know, what happened to me now was an energy rising. It was a kind of Kundalini breakdown, healing movement of energy, because the life that I was living was all wrong. There was this dissonance. There I was within a medical system. I'd trained and qualified and was working with people who were dying. And I just could not bear the way I saw it handled. You know, I feel now that death should be handled as a beautiful transition, just like birth. It's a precious time. So many good things can happen around the time of death if we're present with it, if we listen, if we hold the space without fear. It's not like it is in hospital, where people are drugged up and they die alone, and it was very difficult for me to stay in that space. Plus, I had a childhood that brought stories of addiction and mental illness with them in my parents, and that brings a certain patterning into your life. And I had this breakdown, and then I was an inpatient, and the path that I thought of being healer, being doctor, became closed to me. And now I think, thank God, because there's nothing very healing going on in hospitals nowadays. I mean, it's wonderful. I just love the work of surgery and some medical intervention. Some of it's amazing and miraculous. And then we've lost our way. Some of it's like the fairy tale of the Emperor's New Clothes, where nobody knows what nonsense is going on, except a child who sees through it all and says, well, that's just ridiculous. Now I think it's totally ridiculous to be shoveling pills into psychiatric patients. I was so depressed and manic and eating disordered and self-harming and obsessing and fearful and phobic. I really, through keeping my illness as hidden as I could from the few people in my life, it just grew bigger and bigger and worse. And that's what happens. We need to bring light into darkness. When we bring light and we share and we look in light at what's there, we can start weeding our mind and making it a clean place, making it a beautiful place. You can take out every negative thought of self-hate and you can plant a seed of self-love. You can become conscious and aware of why you became ill. It doesn't just appear overnight. It isn't a chemical imbalance. It's something we grow. It's something we must take responsibility for. Own it. We grew it. I was trying to keep mine secret. I didn't want others to know of my fear, my darkness. Although I was engaged in therapy, that was a great help. I learned to start to talk there, and I started to draw and express my feelings. And this is where my healing really came from. I came off all the meds. They made no difference anyway. And I was still miserable as sin, or high as a kite. But I started drawing and dreaming and being creative and expressing who I really was. And I think, all healing comes down to this alignment. We just need to learn how to be. Just be. Be with what's there, be present, be grateful. And breathe, to come into the breath so that you actually feel. Let the breath integrate the body, integrate the mind. So, don't believe them. Don't take the medicines. You get strung up for saying things like that in America. We get struck off. They have protocols. You get this label from a book with 300 labels to label the human condition, and there's a drug to go for each name. If you don't prescribe the right drug, you will get struck off. Luckily, Britain's not as bad as that, but it's pretty appalling, actually. We will look back at this time in history at what our medications did in terms of toxicity to the human body and toxicity to the planet. All these drugs going into the water, into the earth, these chemicals, pollutants. So I had the most dreadful, severe depression, anxiety, self-hate. And you don't have to stay that way. When I get people now, when they're very, very unwell, we work with good nutrition, exercise, become conscious of the mind, become conscious of the heart, start healing the heart, bring some energy into the heart. Look at your dreams and see what your dreams are telling you. Because for me, I started having dreams and they gave me insight into my emotions, my feelings, my life, my relationships. I've had the most wonderful guidance. I absolutely love the fact that through the use of my dreams, I was led step by step. It felt like I had a guiding light, a helping hand, source energy, whatever you want to call it, pineal, just telling me what to do. Nowadays, my dreams get really, really simple. But I want to make a book of dreams, actually, to just show how beautifully they can lead you. So yes, dreams, artwork. We need to be creative to heal. You need to find your voice, sing. I did singing for a while. It was terrible. I still am, but I would just loved it. Got a karaoke machine, open up the throat chakra, do chanting, chant oms, all that kind of thing. Just, work at energy levels. Which part of your energy body's weak? What can you do? What exercises can you do? I used to climb trees a lot. Let the trees hold me and clean me. You can let your energy in a tree just become one with the tree, and you become peaceful and calm. You don't have to climb it, you can just hug it. Very, very important to learn if you're mentally ill, what they call mentally ill, how to clean yourself, how to release toxic energies, people, work, emotions. It's like layer upon layer. We can bring everything into balance. It's just a matter of practice, a matter of responsibility. So that was a psychiatric illness, and now I love it if someone who's depressed comes to me, because I know we can get better if they do the homework, if you're prepared to be disciplined and just do the work. Which was what I loved about that dispenser, because the people there, we were getting very good results collectively as a group, because people came to the event and they'd already been meditating maybe 2 hours a day, practicing with energy, practicing gratitude. And so they were rewiring the system. They were coming into the present moment. And that's where healing happens.